This is the San Francisco 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Appreciate all of you for joining us, and I'm rocking the Jerry Rice 80 jersey because, one, we got past 80,000 subscribers, and our live show to celebrate 80,000 subscribers popped off. If you missed it, bad job by you. As for what we're getting into on today's show, good job by you for tuning in. Going to take a look at the latest 49ers mock draft from ESPN to see who Todd, McShay, and Mel Kiper has going to the Niners at pick 99, 101, and 102 in the NFL draft. Speaking of the third round, we're going to be going live for the entire duration of it. That's going to be on Friday, day 2 of the draft. Subscribe and join us. You don't want to miss it. Some Super Chat games, giveaways, prospect breakdowns, and analysis. Our coverage is going to be absolutely fantastic. Please make sure you don't miss it. As for who ESPN has going to the Niners in their latest mock draft, this one, a little bit of a surprise. Have you ever heard of the football powerhouse that is Shepherd? They played D2 football in the PSAC. That's the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. Now, I'm from Westchester, Pennsylvania, and Westchester University plays in the PSAC. Some good football players have come out of there. But Joey Fisher, 99 overall? What? Here's what Mel Kiper, ESPN NFL Draft Insider, had to say about this pick, which is just weird and wonky. Let's start with Fisher, who was invited to the Senior Bowl, but couldn't practice due to a broken hand. He had an impressive pro day, though, and I think he is likely going to play guard in the NFL. He isn't ready to compete in 2023, but he has a ton of upside. So why would the Niners draft him? I really don't understand it. They have a need at right tackle, but you're telling me Joey Fisher can't play right tackle? He can play right guard, but what if Spencer Burford plays really well in 2023? Making this selection doesn't make a lot of sense unless you think that Aaron Banks at some point is going to get paid, then you move him to left guard, or the Niners believe that he can play right tackle. Either way, this pick doesn't make sense for me. I'm giving it an F grade. At 101 overall, this is a pretty intriguing prospect out of Louisville, YaYa Diaby. Very athletic defensive end out of Louisville. And what ESPN has done here, Niners have needs along the offensive line, have a need to stack up depth at edge rusher. YaYa Diaby, pretty fascinating player here. Because prior to 2022, he hadn't really done much throughout his NFL career. 37 tackles, 14 tackles for loss a year ago, 9 sacks and 2 pass breakups. Here's what Kiper had to say about YaYa, one of the more elite names in this draft class. After having 1.5 sacks in 2020-2021 combined, he had 9.5 last fall. He flies off the edge to get hurries. He's a disruptive player, 6'3", 263-pounder, ran a 4.51 40-yard dash at the combine, and his 10-yard split of 1.56 right at the top among the edge rushers. He also put up a 37-inch vertical leap. He has the tools to be a great player, although he needs some seasoning to put everything together. And for a guy who needs some seasoning, who needs to put it together, doesn't this sound like a great project for Chris Kocurek? Doesn't this sound like a great tutor opportunity for Nick Bosa to bring this guy underneath your wings to allow him to maybe be a very good edge rusher down the road? YaYa Diaby to the Niners at 101. You see what I'm saying on that graphic there? Pretty interesting player here. And I just have some concerns about the lack of production. Like, why was it that he had that little sacks, right, over 2 years combined? And in turn, why was he able to really develop? Is it because he's inexperienced, he's raw? Yes. Would not be an immediate playmaker for this team in 2023. Same can be said for Joey Fisher. Interesting nonetheless. At 102 overall, Tre'Vius Hodges-Tomlinson, the cornerback out of TCU. Now, Harrison Graham, who hosts our Bears channel, our Chiefs channel, he went to TCU. And he's a diehard Horned Frogs fan. I asked him about the insight on Tre'Vius Hodges-Tomlinson, and I've watched some of the tape. Pretty unique prospect here. And as for what he did last year for a team that made it to the national championship game, he is so active. Has a knack for getting his hands on the football, making plays on the football, 50 tackles, 15 pass breakups, 3 picks, 1 forced fumble. Todd McShay made this pick in this mock draft for Tre'Vius Hodges-Tomlinson, and here's what he had to say here. The Niners went from 0 to 60 quickly, After sitting out the first 98 picks, they've had 3 selections in a 4-pick span. I considered USC defensive lineman Tuli Peluto here to close out our 3-round mock draft, but San Francisco's cornerback depth is lacking, and Hodges-Tomlinson has good instincts and ball skills despite a smaller frame. So I reached out to Harrison. I did some of my own scouting, and here's kind of what we came up with here. He's only 5'8", and that's why he's probably going to slide to the 3rd round, day 2 pick, and maybe even slide into the 4th round if the Niners don't take him here. And because of that lack of size, at the college level, you can get away with that because you're not going up against a bunch of wide receivers who are standing 6'3", 6'4". At the NFL level, though, that doesn't cut it. That's why Samuel Womack, who was a ball beater, at Toledo 2 years ago, that's why he slid in the NFL draft. But what do Tomlinson and what do Samuel Womack have in common? They just make plays on the football. Really instinctual players. They're also pretty scrappy. So Hodges-Tomlinson, scrappy AF, is what Harrison told me. And he will challenge you. But also a little bit of a concern here, he's a little bit grabby. And oftentimes those holds that you get away with and the tugging of the jersey, you being a little bit physical, you can get away with that at the college level because it's officiated at that level of football a little bit differently than the NFL level. At the NFL level, though, we know all the rules are catered to the offense, right? You're not going to get away with some of those calls. So grade this mock draft from ESPN. I frankly don't like it. I think there are better players available. I'd like to see a tight end go on day 2 and round 3 for San Francisco. I like the idea of edge rusher, but maybe a player who's a little bit more proven. And offensive line, I agree. Massive need there. But we're going to go with the D2 player out of the PSAC conference, out of Shepherd. I just don't see it. So I'm going to go C or D with Mel Kiper and Todd McShay. I think that in this instance, we know a little bit better than them. Before we hop on out of here, please make sure you give me a follow, Twitter and Instagram at Chase_Senior. Really trying to grow the Instagram profile a little bit by putting out some more videos out there. I do it all here at Chat Sports, NFL, NBA, college football, life. I run basically every single day. Just completed a 300-day running streak, inspiring one of our loyal subscribers, Kyle Coughlin, to start a walking streak. Hit me up. I'm always down to chop it up and talk about anything under the sun at Chase_Senior.